That snaps for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We
you want one
can't, we
quick
can't, we
question?
can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey,
Next, we
Rashad.
got Jackie Robinson. So the whole Jackie Robinson joint, Jackie Robinson, he was pretty much, he had a page on like an American government website, like a federal website, and it was just detailing his, history with the military. And I'm like, dang, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't know about that page or that history kind of lesson or whatever that was up there on the kind of USA government until today when it was taken down. Until people was like, "Are you serious? This is racist BS." And people like Jeff Passan, Hall of Fame writer over there at ESPN and stuff like that, MLB writer, called it out. So it's just like, I don't know, man. They end up putting it back up, but yeah, I wanna read this whole thing. All right. Should I get some water first? Yeah, I'll get some water. All right. Hold on. I'll be back. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's do it. So this goes back to my Trump when he gave his when it was kind of like, what was it? It was like not the State of the Union, but I always want to call it the State of the Union, but his presidential address a couple weeks ago. I brought it up because he said, we're gonna get rid of woke, we're gonna get woke out of the education. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Get woke out of the education? And I think this is it. You saw people fighting for critical race theory, just teaching. It already wasn't enough Black history being taught in the schools. And so they were just kind of petitioning and kind of campaigning on the fact they wanted to take more out than already was in there, which was very little. I get to college and I take African American studies and I'm like, man, I ain't learned any of this in high school. And you might say, well, that's college. No, a lot of college courses, you learn most of the stuff in high school. It's really just high school, like more in depth was a lot of college. But African American studies just blew. And what I'm saying, I was in AP classes, I was in IB classes, what I'm saying, or at least pre-diploma classes for international baccalaureate IB, advanced classes and stuff like that. Like, and the stuff that I learned in college compared to that with African Americans, Black people, and stuff like that, blew it out the water. It's not even comparison because they didn't teach us like anything. Like, we spent a whole large chunk of a semester in AP US History A push on slavery and the slave trade and everything like that's what we spent most of it on. And then it's like you speed up, you learn a little bit about MLK. Boom, racism over. You know what I'm saying? It's like it'll be February. We'll learn about Madam C.J. Walker as a fun fact for a one-liner. Maybe a couple other figures like Jackie Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Like the basic Black History Month figures. It's not anything beyond that. And that's just kind of what I grew up with. I learned a lot more from my dad outside of school. And then college African American studies was just a whole nother world. Like, to know how powerful Black people have always been before racism, to know that they believed in God before slavery. I said before racism, before slavery. To know they believed in God before slavery. All of these things are things that I learned in African American studies in college. With that being said, here we go. Jeff Passan. When asked about the reason for the removal of the story on a Department of Defense website on Jackie Robinson's military service, Pentagon Press Secretary John Uliot sent the following statement to ESPN. The story remains deleted. As Secretary Hegseth Hexeth have said DEI is dead. What? At the Defense Department. Discrimination. What? Equity ideology is a form of woke. What? Cultural Marxism that has no place in our military. It divides the force, erodes unit cohesion, and interferes with the service's core warfighting mission. We are pleased by the rapid compliance across the department with directive removing DEI content from all platforms. In the rare cases that content is removed, either deliberately or by mistake, that is out of the clearly outlined scope of the directive. We instruct the components and they correct the content accordingly. What? Bro. Xavier Sanchez. Pete Hegseth is a clown for this. Jackie Robinson is American hero. He was not just a talented athlete, but also fought for this country. Few can say they have done that. Pete, he stood on that. He said, no woke, bro. Bro, what? What is on his page? Judge blocks. We are appealing the decision. We will win. Yo, this is crazy. So this junk just be going on? Bro, this is crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm legit like just like wow. This is wow. That's really what they said, bro. Huh? An updated statement from the Pentagon press secretary Johnny on the removal of the star. It remains deleted. Everyone at the Defense Department loves Jackie Robinson. What is this? What's going on right now? Oh my goodness. This is supposed to be the White House. This is supposed to be like the federal government. This is supposed to be, huh? This is supposed to be like the state of class, especially with simple things like public statements, especially with things like PSAs. It's supposed to be we love blah, 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 blah. We work on an inclusive environment, loving to all. What? As well as the Navajo Code Talkers, the Tuskegee Airmen, the Marines at the two Iwo Jima, and many others. We salute them for their strong and in many cases heroic services to our country, full stop. We do not view or highlight them through the prism of immutable characteristics such as race, ethnicity, or sex. It exists. Like, what is this whole thing on downplaying what exists? The Notre Dame football coach, he was like, how do you feel to be black in the national championship game? Like the first black coach that could win the national championship. And he's like, it don't matter if you white, yellow, blue, purple. Anytime somebody say that, they one of them ones. If you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, regardless, beyond that, bro, what, bro? Like, why y'all acting like it don't exist? Like, I feel like that only makes it worse when you act like it don't exist. Racism don't exist, y'all. Hey, y'all, did you know? Hey, race ain't race. Huh? What do you, like they say, what do you do at a stoplight? If you can't see color, what you do at a stoplight, bro? Acting like racism doesn't exist ain't gonna solve the problem of racism. And saying that racism exists isn't me playing victim. Because I already see the comments right now. Y'all been blowing up my notifications with these. Every couple months, I get just a slew of just a bunch of comments that's coming after me for whatever I said, just saying like racism exists and I'm black, y'all. I'll be like, hey, y'all, I'm black. They'd be like, oh, you such a victim. Always waiting for a handout with your fried chicken and your food stamps, you monkey. And I'm like, hey, hold on, man. I just said that I think like Angel Reese has had a good rookie season. What are we doing? We do not view or highlight them through the prism of immutable characteristics such as race, ethnicity, or sex. We do only so by recognizing their patriotism and dedication to the work. Okay, so how about a very great American athlete also served in the military? Is that not good enough? Like, how many of the athletes as good as Jackie Robinson or above Jackie Robinson. This is a multi-sport athlete now. We're talking about a guy at UCLA was one of them ones, a football star, you know what I'm saying? A baseball star, one of the greatest players in Negro League history, then got called up to the Major League Baseball, was booed and thrown. Like the system said, how do you exactly tell the Jackie Robinson story without mentioning race? Why was he booed? Why did he receive threats, unalive threats, you know what I'm saying, on the road and everything like that at home for being the first black player in Major League Baseball? What are we doing? It's going to be so big. We're going to build a wall in China. Anyway, okay, we do so only by recognizing their patriotism and dedication to the warfighting mission, like every other American who has worn the uniform. Those Americans didn't play in Major League Baseball. They weren't two-sport athletes, two-sport stars at UCLA, one of the more storied athletic programs in collegiate American history. Like, what are we talking about? DEI, discriminatory equity ideology, does the opposite. It divides the. What does that have to do with talking about black people, bro? He said we're gonna get the woke out of the education. What woke? You already don't talk about black people enough, bro. Like, I took courses on African American studies, bro. Multiple courses on African American studies in college. And I still don't know much about black folks. I'm talking, and we only been here 400 years in America, bro. And you got people like, with the YouTube, with the channels and stuff like that, saying that some black people might be black Native Americans. We might be, you know what I'm saying? I don't even know my lineage, dog. I'm like most black people. I don't know my lineage. I don't know where my people came from. I don't know if I'm Native American or if I came from Kenya or if I came from, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, bro. I do not know. My last name is Milligan. St. Patrick's Day just passed 2 days ago. Probably Irish. It's an Irish last name. Milligan's an Irish last name. Slave master's name, bro. Like, they own my dad's family, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's already not enough out there. I don't know. So I'm saying, like, I already don't know. I'll already have to scrounge and scrape and fight for the information that's out there right now, the little bit of information that's out right. And you're trying to take that away? For what, bro? Saying racism doesn't exist doesn't get rid of the problem of racism. Because everybody who says racism doesn't exist probably moves like a racist. Oh, we really getting this started now. Y'all really gonna call me a monkey and tell me to tap dance for my little food stamps right now. But let's continue reading. We are pleased by the rapid compliance across the department with the directive removing DEI content from all platforms. In rare cases, that content is removed either deliberately or by mistake. How can you remove something from a it's some jobs you just can't afford to make a mistake, bro. Like being a heart surgeon, being a pilot, working for the federal government, and working on a website, bro. Like a government, like, you know what I'm saying? If you've been in school, right, in the internet era, when I was growing up, the teachers always said, don't go to Wikipedia because anybody can add to Wikipedia. Anybody could change it at any moment. Wikipedia is not a reliable source. And say, okay, where you go? Go to .gov, go to .org. Those websites are always going to have the right stuff, and they're going to be respected, and they're going to be verified and validated and this and that. Can't say that no more. The .gov might accidentally get deleted. AKA, people on Twitter got mad at us and we felt the heat and we had to put it back up before y'all called us racist again. You already exposed yourself, bro. But I'm glad you put it back up. That is out of the clearly outlined scope of the directive. We instruct the components and they correct the content so it recognizes our heroes for their dedicated service alongside their fellow Americans, period. And they put the period. Shout out to City Girls, man. Y'all really like led a legacy, bro. Since the story of the Department of Defense website on Jackie Robinson has been deleted, here are the details of his service in the United States military. In 1942, Robinson was drafted and reported to Fort Riley, Kansas. By early 1943, he was commissioned by the second lieutenant before joining the 761st Tank Battalion. And I'm sorry, this is a word I see all the time with like 680, everything, all of those things. I always see these numbers. That name, word, excuse me, is like also known as the Black Panthers. There we go, the Black Panthers. Before joining, Jackie Robinson was a Black Panther. Hold on. See, now I'm about to do a whole nother history lesson. I gotta see this. I didn't know Jackie Robinson was one of the Black Panthers. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Jackie Robinson, Black Panthers. I didn't know he was a Black Panther, bro. Oh, it's up here. All right, I'm about to share it. Hold on. Give me a second. Be sharing this tab.
The man who broke the color line of baseball, the first black man to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, was a Black Panther? No, not those Black Panthers, but the 761st Tank Battalion of the United States Army. Known to a few, but in today's world, taught to little, Jackie was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He served with the Black Panthers preparing to fight the Germans, but all that came to an end when Jackie was court-martialed for not moving to the back of a desegregated military bus in 1944. This would be the end of Jackie's time with the Black Panthers and the battalion. He would later go on to testify for 4.5 hours and be acquitted of all charges. Following his discharge from the military, Jackie looked to baseball, where he was already a star, and the rest is history. A brave man's fate intertwined with those of the 761st Battalion, both demolishing the color barrier in their respective spaces. The man who broke the color line of baseball,
what a dude, bro.
the first black man to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, was a Black Panther? No, not those Black Panthers, but the 761st Tank Battalion of the United States Army. Known to a few, but in today's world, taught to little, Jackie was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He served with the Black Panthers preparing to fight the Germans, but all that came to an end when Jackie was court-martialed for not moving to the back of a desegregated military bus in 1944. This would be the end of Jackie's time with the Black Panthers and the battalion. He would later go on to testify.
That's crazy, bro. Bro, that's crazy, dude. A year later, after Robinson boarded an army bus, the driver asked him to retreat to the back. Robinson refused more than a decade before Rosa Parks. Wow. Robinson was court-martialed and later acquitted. He spent the rest of his military service back at Camp Breckenridge, where he coached the Army's athletics. He coached. He was honorably discharged in 1944. Bro, what? I knew none of this about Jackie Robinson, bro. And they tried to wipe that off the. Jeez Louise. The Department of Defense story on Jackie Robinson has been restored to its original URL. No longer redirects to one with the letters DEI in it. This is crazy, bro. Did Trump tweet about this? Trump say anything about this? UCLA, track and field. He's also on the football team, right? Let me see. He was. There he is right here. So four sports. He played 4 sports at UCLA. He played basketball at UCLA? I didn't know he played basketball at UCLA. See, bro, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff like this is just crazy, bro. Like, this man played 4 sports at UCLA, entered the military, was a part of the military for 2 years, was moving up the ranks. They demoted him and punished him after he wouldn't move to the back of the bus. So then he went and coached Navy for the last couple of years until he was honorably discharged. Then he went on to focus on his his Negro League career before becoming the first black man to break the color barrier in baseball, and then becoming the first black man to be inducted into the pro baseball. Are you serious? He did that in one. He did that in one. You know what I'm saying? He did that in one lifetime, bro. That is ridiculous, dude. Shout out to Jackie Robinson, bro. Now is a good time to tell the story to remind anybody that the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is in Kansas City. It exists to tell a deeply important American study, one that is ultimately about triumph. Our history, good or bad, is all we have. Learning it is our duty. 100%, Jeff. And I know about the Negro League Museum in Kansas City because I got some folks in Kansas City, or I got some folks in Kansas that talk about the Negro League Museum all the time and stuff like that. I need to go check it out. Women's basketball Hall of Fame as well in Knoxville. I got to go check it out someday. These are all things that I kind of need to hit, just I feel like as a responsible sports journalist and stuff like that. But yeah, geez Louise, man. What a story. Okay, shout out Jackie Robinson. And there's a clip of Jackie Robinson talking to that somebody had that I wanted to pull up. I'll look at. It's my first time looking at it.
White Americans have their head. I think most white Americans have their head in the sand in terms of race relations. White America is saying law and order. You got to abide by it. But in their hearts, law and order means simply holding black men down. I think.
Man, Jackie Robinson did not. He didn't hold back, bro. You see him right there. I think his wife is still living too. His wife is still living, bro. Miss Rachel Robinson. She's 102 years old, bro. She shows up every year at the beginning of the year in April when Major League Baseball does Jackie Robinson Day. She shows up every year on the field, bro. At 101, she did it. And she did it last year too. Let me see. 2024. She on the field, bro. Here she is, 2024. At the age of 104. 104. At an age of 101, bro. Like, it's crazy. This is crazy, dude. Shout out to Miss Rachel Robinson, I believe her name is, right? Rachel Robinson, man. Salute to the great Rachel Robinson, bro. Shout out to Jackie Robinson once again. Dude, like, people say it's levels to this stuff. It's levels to this stuff, bro. It's levels to this stuff. Oh, I don't even think the audio was shared on that one, but hey, we're gonna go with it. Let me see where I want to go now, because they say my audio isn't sharing. Okay.
That's for losers, man. I don't get involved in that stuff, but
Angel Rashad Milligan rolling out.
That's a good question.
Brandon,
We can't ask Rashad questions.
Hey, Rashad.